Yes.
What kind of apple trees did you plant?
Every time you go to the cider mill and sell your apples to make cider, they throw all the seeds aside. Now this apple here, if you took the seeds from this, it will not produce the same apple. You can graft onto a tree from this tree that this apple came from a tree. If you graft a piece of that, a scion or a bud, you'll get the same apple. But the seeds here will not produce the same apple. Now you say, oh, that's a shame, but it's also an advantage. Because that means if your valley happens to be a little bit colder, or the soil's not quite as good, certain seeds will be able to adapt, other seeds will not. So it's a way. There's a young fellow in the East Coast, and he's written some stuff, and he said, as people go west, and we are wandering people, I will have to say that, we take with us the dog, the horse, and the apple. Because the apple can be used to make so many worthwhile things. And don't forget, for instance, apple vinegar is the medicine of the West. Apple jack may be the beverage. And some of you are saying, well, wait a minute. That whole movement has just started. I'm an old man now, and that movement called, what do they call, temperance, is just getting started now. Nobody thought of that. And there was so, look, when you moved west in the early days, I apologize in advance, but she instigated this. And that is you're going to be sick to your tummy for the first year almost constantly as you kind of adapt to this place. So that's one reason why people drink as much Applejack as they do. I think that's a good excuse anyhow. So those are all the different places. Another question for me, and if you really want to know, you should ask him to know a little bit more about my beliefs. See, I see myself as a preacher more than anything, and a storyteller. Let's take one. Well, yes.
How long after planting seed do you get a bearing tree? How many years?
You're a man after my own heart. Yes. You plant the seeds and you'll start having apples at the 5-year mark.
5.
That's why if you buy a 3-year tree from me, it'll be 8 years old when you have to pay your taxes, which means it's going to have a pretty good harvest. It's really a 10-year-old tree that'll produce a lot of trees. Most trees only live to be about 35 years. And they start, and remember, if you are always using the same branch over and over again, it's stagnation. And eventually things will get worse. But and that's why so much, and in different states it was different rules. So in Ohio, you had to, from the beginning, they come by at the 2-year mark. You've had the property for 2 years. You come by, and they will look and say, you've cleared off 3 acres, good, and you've planted 50 apple trees. And also, if in the southern part of Ohio, you had to plant 20 peach trees too. But I had nothing to do with that. So anytime you hear somebody say, here comes Johnny Peach Pit, that's just false. That's not true at all. Yes?
What parts of Illinois did you visit?
Well, I came from the northern part. See, I came to school almost straight across from Allen County, which is where Fort Wayne is, in that area, and just kept going across. And as I remembered, I didn't remember seeing any line at the time, so I just came over, was checking things out. So I never really have established anything here yet. But if everyone's as nice as you are, I will be back.